Hello everyone. Today my presentation will be shedding light on the homeless crisis here in California. We'll go over stereotypes, understand the causes, and explore local initiatives for positive change. And together we can make a difference in our community. Okay, so first I think it's important to understand homelessness is a complex issue with multiple factors. So first we got rising housing costs, we got the limited affordable housing options, and we also have mental health challenges, substance abuse, and the lingering effects of the California fires and the COVID pandemic. Here in California, the homeless crisis has reached a staggering proportion. According to the California Point-in-Time Count, an annual survey conducted to estimate the number of homeless individuals, California accounted for over 160,000 people. That number represents almost a quarter of the national total. So the first factor we should look at when it comes to homelessness is the rising price of housing. According to the California Association of Realtors, the California median home price is forecast to retreat 8.8% to $758,600 in 2023, following a projected 5.7% increase to $831,460 in 2022. Now compared to 2018, the median house price was around $275,000 to $300,000. Meanwhile, our minimum wage has only gone up from $11 an hour to $15.50 an hour. So, the state's high cost of housing has created a significant barrier for individuals and families, pushing many into precarious living situations. Skyrocketing rental prices and a shortage of affordable housing options have left vulnerable populations at risk of homelessness. Additionally, economic and income inequality contribute to this crisis. Low wages, job insecurity, and limited access to quality education and healthcare make it harder for certain segments of the population, increasing their vulnerability to homelessness. Moreover, mental health challenges and substance abuse issues compound the problem. Many homeless individuals struggle with untreated mental illnesses, making it hard for them to have the ability to maintain stable housing. Substance abuse can also lead to homelessness, as addiction often strips individuals of their support systems and economic stability. According to the National Coalition for the Homeless, substance abuse is more prevalent in people who are homeless than in those who are not. In many instances, substance abuse is a result of the stress of homelessness, rather than the other way around. Many people begin using drugs or alcohol as a way of coping with the pressure of homelessness. So with the growing use of drugs on the street, the transfer of bloodborne pathogens and diseases was very common. One way that people thought they could fight it was the needle exchange program. Back in June of 2021, the return of the needle exchange program was in Chico and had gotten permission from California's Department of Public Health to deliver needles to houses and homeless camps in response to increasing protesters. The program is run by the Northern Valley Harm Reduction Coalition, also known as NVHRC. For more than 30 years, public health officials and nonprofits in California have provided clean hypodermic needles to people who use them to inject drugs. For nearly the entire time, opponents have accused the free needle programs of promoting drug use and homelessness. But opponents have deployed a strategy to shut them down. Using environmental regulations to sue over needle waste, they argue that contaminated needles polluted parks and waterways, and their lawsuits have succeeded across the state. Environmental challenges have already forced free needle programs in Orange County, Chico, and Eureka to close or modify their operations. A bill signed by Governor Gavin Newsom eliminated that tactic. The homeless crisis has consequences for both individuals experiencing homelessness and the community they live in. The lack of housing exposes people to health risks, violence, and adverse weather conditions, resulting in increased rates of illness and death. It also adds strain on public resources, such as emergency services, healthcare, creating more challenges for communities already grappling with the limited resource. The presence of homeless encampments in public spaces also raise concern regarding public safety, sanitation, and aesthetic. This often leads to tension between homeless individuals, local businesses, and residents, highlighting the need for compassionate and collaborative solutions. And next, let's talk about the government and community response. Recognizing the severity of the crisis, government agencies, nonprofit organizations, and community activists have mobilized efforts to address homelessness in California. the state government has allocated substantial funds to combat homelessness, with initiatives like the Homeless Emergency Aid Program, or HEAP, and Project Home Key. These programs aim to provide immediate shelter, support services, and funding for affordable housing development. Nonprofit organizations play a critical role in addressing homelessness, providing essential services such as emergency shelters, meal programs, healthcare, and job training. The organizations collaborate with government agencies, leveraging their expertise and community networks to maximize their impact. Most aid provided by the government and the community is short-term solutions. So, what are the long-term solutions? Well, addressing the homeless crisis in California requires a multi-phase approach that combines short-term interventions with long-term solutions. Some of these key strategies could be increasing the availability of affordable housing, comprehensive healthcare and mental health services, and finally, supportive services and case management. So how would these help? Well, investing in affordable housing development and expanding rental assistance programs can alleviate the housing shortage and provide stable homes for vulnerable populations. 2. Enhancing access to quality healthcare, mental health treatment, and substance abuse services can address underlying issues that contribute to homelessness. And finally, 3. Providing wraparound services such as counseling, job training, and life skill development can empower individuals to regain stability and reintegrate into society. In February of 2017, the Orville Dam failed, and the World Watch, as the main spillway on one of the world's largest dams, suffered a catastrophic failure, which led to the evacuation of 200,000 people: men, women, children, the working class, the wealthy, and especially the homeless. Where did they go? Here, Chico, California. Only a year later, in 2018, the town of Paradise was burned in a fire that took up 240 square miles, causing $16.6 billion of damage. Again, evacuation took place and people fled to a safe area. Chico once again was a haven for refugees. Hotels filled up, parking lots full of people sleeping in cars and RVs, and the city of Chico at capacity. Then we encountered the COVID-19 pandemic, and COVID affected all of our lives, some more than others. Fast forwarding to today, in 2023, a lot of that homeless population is still around in Chico. Now, the city of Chico at first was just kicking people out of the parks, moving them from under bridges, away from buildings, giving people no notice and really no place to go other than the next park or the next parking lot. So what exactly is the city of Chico doing in order to fight the homeless crisis? We'll take a look at shelters and programs in place in order to help these people. Okay, let's talk about the Jesus Center and all the support they provide for the homeless population here in Chico. 1. Shelter. Using a trauma-informed care model, the Sabbath House is a recovery-focused emergency shelter for adult men and adult women experiencing homelessness in Chico. The mission of the Sabbath House shelter is to inspire all towards a path to a full life. They start by inviting participants to co-create their personal goal towards purpose, independence, and wellness. They also provide transitional housing, and they realize that housing is a crucial piece of the puzzle, and they strive to inspire people to reach their full spiritual, physical, emotional, and vocational wellness. At their Sober Transitional House program, they provide temporary housing, bridging the gap between homelessness and a permanent house. This program allows people time and opportunities to transition from homelessness to permanent affordable housing. They offer the housing to men and women, and they also offer specific housing to single women with children, pregnant women, mothers with infant children, and senior women. They also provide employment services. That service task program is the beginning of the workaround purpose. So they provide an opportunity to gain experience and build back personal dignity. Participants learn how to work alongside others, build confidence, and are invited to take the next steps in their training programs. And finally, the Pathways. The Pathways program uses a personal-centered, strength-based approach design with participants in mind. The Pathways offer 4 distinct areas of focus to ensure individuals are provided with opportunities for personal growth and ending their homelessness by allowing them to rediscover their purpose, independence, and their wellness. So the next shelter I'd like to talk about is the Taurus Shelter. The Taurus Community Shelter is a large 140-bed homeless shelter in Chico. So they serve men, women, and families with children. In addition to providing overnight shelter, showers, and evening meals, they strive to help people improve their circumstances by helping them find a job, housing, and many other vital things that they need to get back on their feet. They open daily at 9 a.m. weekdays and they're closed on the weekends Some of their services include telephone messaging services, they have clean restrooms and showers, toiletries are provided for people, and laundry facilities by voucher or work exchange. They have a mail service, they have case management, employment and housing search help, benefits, counseling, substance abuse referrals. They also have behavioral health referrals and legal advice offices. If we take a look at Japan, it has a 1.6% national average of people experiencing homelessness. We see that Japan supports communities that experience homelessness by offering temporary housing provisions and employment advice to lower the amount of those that experience homelessness over the years. In fact, during the COVID-19 pandemic, the authorities of Tokyo, the city with the highest rate of homelessness, offered accommodations in vacant hotels. The Japanese government implemented training courses for these individuals, incentives to encourage businesses to hire them as employees, and subsidized rent options for housing, and implemented direct food aid. So Finland's approach is housing first, kind of like what we're doing here in the US. In 2007, a plan was introduced to provide permanent housing, making solving health and social problems much less complicated. People who are homeless are given permanent housing on a typical lease that can range from a self-contained apartment to even a housing block with continuous support. Tenants pay rent and are qualified to receive housing benefits. Then, depending on their income, they can contribute to the cost of the support services that they receive, and local governments can cover the rest. Here in the United States, we are also using the housing first method. However, our percentage of homelessness is still very high compared to those in other countries. What is wrong here? Well, I think it's our culture. In Japanese culture, they still are very heavily reliant on honor and respect towards each other. Men are expected to make something of themselves. If they're not, it's dishonorable. In Finland, you have people treat each other with the utmost respect and always there to aid one another. Here in the United States, everyone is a stranger, everyone has different views, everyone is worried about their own thing. So how do we rebuild our community so that we can effectively take care of our neighbors that are struggling on the streets on a day-to-day? So first of all, the homeless crisis in Chico is a shared responsibility. By understanding the root causes, supporting local organizations, and engaging in open dialogue, we can continue to build a more compassionate and inclusive community. That being said, it is not easy to change the minds of many, but we can start small, one little step at a time. You can visit chico.ca.us and make a contribution to make a difference. The City of Chico has partnered with North Valley Community Foundation to create a charitable giving program that allows individuals to provide tax-deductible donations towards homeless services within the City of Chico. Contributions will be used to help fund the city's homeless service efforts, such as services at the Chico pallet shelter and services at any other city-sanctioned site. Volunteering is another great way to fight the homeless crisis here in Chico. You can volunteer at the pallet shelter, which is only staffed by around 25 people, and you can also volunteer at the GIA Center or at the tourist shelter. It all comes down to being compassionate towards our fellow human. We need to remember that these people are in fact people. They're our neighbors and they're brothers and sisters. They're down on their luck, looking for our hand to help guide them in the right direction. And that's going to be the end of this video. Thank you so much for watching. Goodbye.